I want to thank the media for coming on short notice. This may be the first time I've had this many of you in one place at one time. Never too late, never too late, and I appreciate what you do in the media. I know it's a tough job, and I know you have a lot to do to be accurate and fair, and I appreciate what you do. When I decided to run for president back in December of last year, actually December of 2010. I'd been out of politics for almost 20 years. I had founded a successful billion-dollar bank that didn't foreclose on a single homeowner. And I thought that America needed a leader. I thought that a man who'd been governor of his state and had been a 4-term congressman and who had a proven record of reform cleaning up one of the most corrupt political systems in American history. I thought that someone with these qualifications would be a worthy candidate for the office of president. You are. My wife, Scarlett, and I sat down to talk about my belief that I could help our nation, that we needed to stand up to unfair trade with China, that we needed to restore American manufacturing and put Americans back to work, and that made in America should mean something. And Scarlett, a Mississippi woman, she's working as a nurse. As you know, she's a registered nurse. She's at the hospital this afternoon in children oncology, cancer of children. Scarlett told me that she had never seen me more on fire about serving our country. And she said, "Buddy, I want you to do it. You need to run for me, for your children, and for your grandchildren." Since then, I'm proud to say that we've highlighted the issue of money in politics. I run the same way I've run before, always. Taking no special interest money, big oil, big chemical in Louisiana. No PACs. No super PAC money. In this campaign, I've gone a step further. I've voluntarily limited myself to $100 donations in order to be free to lead. That's the way I won the governor's race in Louisiana against a corrupt governor. That's the way I won 4 terms as I served in the United States Congress and the House of Representatives. Free to lead. As many of you know, it's been difficult to gain traction in this race. I don't have a gimmicky plan to get media attention. I'm not a soundbite candidate. It is disappointing that someone with a good idea cannot be heard, especially in the context of running for the most important office in our land. Instead, our republic's leadership depends on how much money a candidate has in his or her bank account. Is that how you pick a president of America?
No.
By how much money they raise from the same special interests they should be regulating? Wow. We have a modern American oligarchy. The aristocrats, or those who take money from the aristocrats, are the only ones who can afford to run. The only ones. We've gotten away from our founding principles. The American dream is out of reach for most of our countrymen. It is sad to witness. I want to thank my campaign team, nationally and locally, here in New Hampshire. I'd like to thank our supporters and volunteers across America. This is the best team I could ever hope to have. And this has been our best week. Now listen to me. This has been our best week by all accounts, however you measure politics. We've raised more money than ever before this week, acquired more followers through social media than ever before, and are having an important impact on this race, even at the late stage. But as an old political hand, let me make 2 blunt observations about the process by which we select a president. First, this 2012 campaign is not about good ideas or innovative thinking. It's about money. Money has always been important to politics, but never have we faced such huge amounts of money wrapped in a lie. The lie is super PACs. Supreme Court warned us that corruption in politics and the appearance of corruption is the biggest threat to the stability and growth and integrity of our democratic republic. Each candidate in this race, except me, has a super PAC. Rick Perry has 7. Mitt Romney has 2. Obama has 2. They're all run by a close associate, a business partner, a political partner, a former campaign manager, a former chief of staff. It's illegal and disgusting. There is nothing independent about them, and that's the law. They must be independent. They are in complete coordination with their campaign. Whether they're trashing Gingrich in Iowa, hell, Mitt Romney even spoke at his fundraiser for his own super PAC. Both Romney and Huntsman changed their filing status, so you won't know who donated to their campaign until after the New Hampshire primary. Huntsman's dad funds his campaign, but I guess they must not talk to each other. Sad. And here's the important point. Without reforming the money, there's no way we're going to be able to reform the basic institutions of our government. It will not be. You can't take money from the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies and expect to enact health care reform, Mr. Obama. You cannot take money from General Electric and expect to have tax reform or fair trade with China, Mr. Huntsman. You cannot take money from Goldman Sachs and expect to see bank reform, Mr. Romney. You're being lied to by our politicians who say anything to get elected and take money anywhere to get elected. The American presidency has been hijacked by special interests. The contest has become a joke. But I'm not laughing. It takes money. Look, I know the power of money. I'm a banker, billion-dollar bank. I manage it. I help people with their money. It takes money to get known nationally. But we set our limits so that every American can participate. $100 limit. That's why debates are so much more important to me than they are anybody else in the race. They can spend their special interest money and get fame and fortune. I'm not about ego or money. It takes money to run a campaign. But it's so frustrating to be the only guy who's a congressman and a governor and not get invited to a single campaign debate. You know why I want to be there? I need to have a conversation with the American people, not with the special interest, not with the lobbyists, not with the media, with the people. There are several arguments that I could make as to why I should have been included in the national televised debates, and why I ought to have been invited to the upcoming WMUR debate here in New Hampshire, but I'll name just 2. First, I could make the argument that as someone who is consistently polled even or better than Governor Rick Perry in New Hampshire, it is patently unfair to have him on the stage and not be accompanied by me. Can anyone remember the last time Governor Perry polled as high as 5% in a poll? No. Me neither. 2, I can make the argument that the polling standards for inclusion in the debates are anything but objective. The networks will tell you they have to have high standards, so not just anyone can get in. But they've not been able to answer my satisfaction why a four-term congressman and governor, the most experienced candidate in the race, should not be included. I hope it's not lost on Granite Staters that Rick Perry is skipping the first in the nation primary, but is flying in briefly to participate in New Hampshire's nationally televised debate. It's a drive-by debate for him. He's just like the rest of them. They don't care about New Hampshire. They don't care about your primary. It's just that, honestly, he's completely transparent about it. I love New Hampshire. I've been here for the last 6 months. This great state, this live free or die state, has come to mean so much to me. I lived in Manchester, but the first city I stopped in when I drove to New Hampshire from Baton Rouge was Derry. When I went to college near here, south, the first week I was at Harvard, I met Robert Frost. He'd always been a favorite of mine. It was such an honor. I think he was 81, 82. So I stopped at Derry and went to the Robert Frost Farm. Every time I answer a question on immigration, I quote Robert Frost. Good fences make good neighbors. But we won't get into that. I came to the state of Granny D. I came to New Hampshire, a state where a message of restoring integrity in our political system could resonate with independent-minded voters. Republicans, yes, but independent Democrats and independent voters altogether. This is the state. And it's so frustrating to be home, to be comfortable, to spend 6 months here, to give one speech in Iowa and 1,000 in New Hampshire. It feels so good. But to be shut out of the debates, to not be given a stage, it's not right. It's not fair to New Hampshire. And I'm asking... As a hard-nosed politician, which I have to be in a race, I see that nearly 40% of the voters are still undecided in New Hampshire. That gives me hope. That's why I'll stay here every minute, every hour, every day through Tuesday night to make my case, New Hampshire. Make my case. I know America's a place where anything can happen. But New Hampshire is the place to make things happen. I have an announcement. All of that having been said, I'm here to announce that I will not suspend my campaign. Yeah. Although I'm 0 for 18 in the debates, and although unlike any other candidate, they are critical to me because I have to speak to the people, I will continue to stand up to corruption in politics and the corrupting influence of money in politics. If this causes me to be a thorn in the side of the Republican Party, so be it. This contest may well come down to a delicate fight. And I will request of my delegates, who are required vote by vote across the nation, and as I participate, and are required proportionally in New Hampshire, in all of the states that were on the ballot, we will not support any candidate for president who does not stand up to corruption with me, one way or another. And the reason we do that is you can't do anything else unless you get the lobbyists out of the room. You can't have health care. You can't have budget reform. You can't have immigration reform. You can't have tax reform. You can't have banking reform. You can't do any of those things until the anti-reformers get out of the room. I believe that one way or another in this great year 2012, the Republican Party, my party, will deal with the issue of corruption in our nation's capital. As a campaign, we will not deal with a candidate who refuses to fight corruption in that nation's capital. If there's a close race and a brokered convention, and if our modest number of delegates shift the race one way or another, so be it. Be told, fellow candidates, we will deal with corruption in America's capital, and we will ask you to join with us. I say this to my supporters, and to the national media, and to those who are frustrated by American politics, as I obviously am. This message of restoring integrity in our political system will not live or die in the New Hampshire primary. We will continue the fight to the end. I'm asking tonight for New Hampshire to stand with us. The race is wide open. Choose a president free to lead. You pick the president, not the media, not the super PACs, not the special interests. And here's why I called the press conference to say, we're not going away. We're just